Have you ever waited for something so simple, yet it filled your entire heart the moment it finally happened? The festive season. My house came alive again. I woke up earlier than usual that morning, not because I had somewhere important to be, not because anyone was expecting me outside, but because my heart refused to stay quiet. The festive season has a way of making memories louder, especially when you've spent too many of them alone. I lay on my bed for a while, staring at the ceiling, listening to the early morning sounds, and whispering a quiet prayer of gratitude before my feet even touched the floor. I had cleaned the house the night before, even though no one told me to. I swept every corner slowly, arranged the chairs neatly, wiped the table twice, and cooked food that could easily feed more people than I was used to serving. As I moved around the kitchen that morning, I kept smiling to myself. Today, my house would not be lonely. For years now, festive periods had come and gone quietly. I would sit by the window, watching families pass by in colorful clothes, hearing laughter drift through the air from nearby houses, while mine stayed still and silent. I used to tell myself I was fine with it, but the truth is, silence gets heavy when it stays too long. That morning, every sound felt different. The kettle boiling, the spoon tapping the pot, even my footsteps sounded lighter. I checked the time more times than I cared to admit, pretending I wasn't waiting. When I finally heard the knock on the door, my heart jumped. I didn't ask who it was. I didn't pause to straighten my clothes. I walked straight to the door and opened it, and suddenly my house filled with life, voices, laughter, movement, my grandchildren. They came in carrying bags, stories, excitement, and the kind of joy only young hearts bring. I stood there for a moment, just watching them walk into my home like it belonged to them, because it does. Shoes were dropped carelessly near the door. Chairs scraped noisily across the floor. Questions flew at me from every direction. "Grandma, we missed you. You look good," I laughed, the kind of laughter that starts deep in your chest and reminds you you're still alive. As they settled in, my house felt smaller in the best possible way. The walls seemed warmer. The air felt fuller. The quiet that once lived there had nowhere to hide anymore. I moved around serving food, insisting they eat more even when they said they were already full. Watching them eat filled me with a kind of joy I can't fully explain. There's something sacred about feeding the people you love. It feels like love made visible. While they ate, I studied them quietly. Not out of worry, but because I wanted to remember everything. The sound of their voices, their laughter, the way they moved around my house with ease. I realized how much I had missed moments like this. Later, we sat together, talking and laughing. Stories were told, some old, some new. They asked me questions about the past, about things I thought had been forgotten, and as I spoke, I noticed something that touched me deeply. They were listening, really listening, not just politely, but with interest, with curiosity, with care. In that moment, I felt seen, valued, needed. At some point, my chest tightened unexpectedly. I excused myself quietly and went into my room. I sat on the edge of my bed and wiped the tears that had already found their way to my cheeks. They weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of answered prayers. I thought about all the nights I sat alone, wondering if my presence still mattered. All the times I whispered prayers asking for just one more moment like this. And there it was, louder than silence, warmer than memory. When I returned to the living room, someone noticed my red eyes and asked if I was okay. I smiled and said, "I'm more than okay," and I meant every word. That night, as everyone slept under my roof,
I lay awake listening to the soft sounds of breathing, footsteps, movement, life. My house hadn't felt this full in a long time. Not just full of people, but full of purpose. In the quiet of that night, I realized something important. Happiness doesn't always come as something grand or dramatic. Sometimes it comes quietly, in familiar footsteps, shared meals, and laughter filling spaces that once held silence. This festive season didn't give me gifts wrapped in boxes. It gave me something better. It gave me presence. It gave me love. It gave me them. And that was more than enough.